All right, we're here with the Groveton Indians head football coach, Coach Mike Waldie. And Coach, how are you doing?
Oh, doing great, man. It's that time of year.
Yep.
So excited to be in Groveton, America, and to learn these new kids and just have another football season.
Well, let's talk about it. Let's talk about last year's team, 7-4, by-district finalists last year, 4-1 in district play. What do you know about last year's team, and what did you see last year that you want to improve on this season?
Sure. Well, two things. This was my fifth AD job, and I've kind of learned along the way, be real careful about studying too much video that you didn't coach. I've had kids that were way better than I expected. I've had kids that unfortunately maybe didn't live up to some of my expectations. And it has nothing to do with the coaching. It's just different, right? Different schemes. So I've really kind of quit watching as much video and try to start with a clean slate with everybody. So right now, I haven't seen a single kid play real football, right? We've done a little bit of stuff on the grass. We've had some great weight room sessions, and there's definitely some kids that I'm excited about, work ethic and character. But the football side of things is completely new for this group, and proud of what they accomplished last year. Of course, they graduated a lot of that team, but we're just excited about the tradition. Groveton America goes back, man, forever with all they've done, and we're just going to do our best to build here in year one to lead, to lead them this next decade like some of the decades we've had before us.
So what brought you to Groveton? What made the decision to come to Groveton, and where were you previously?
Sure. So I'm coming from Bryan High. I was the OC at Bryan High with Coach Ricky Tullis. Been the head coach at Gonzales, Woodville, Dangerfield, Luling before that. Love East Texas. I had a gap in between two older children and two younger children where I coached wasn't a factor for them, if that makes sense. So I had done the small school thing. My oldest son was a great player for me at Woodville. My daughter was a great player at Garrison. And we love that size school, that 2A, 3A feel. But in between, before our two younger boys, we did Pearland, we did Bryan, we did some bigger schools, and just realized it wasn't a fit for our children. So we started targeting a small school environment with great tradition, and a geographic area that we were intrigued about, and Groveton was the one. So we're just fired up to be here.
Oh, that's awesome. Well, let's talk about the district that you got put in, the realignment this year. You got Centerville, Leon, Corrigan, Camden, Hearn, and Normandy in the district. What do you know about this district so far, and what are your thoughts on it?
Sure. So this is the smallest job I've had. I know a lot about those schools through the years, even competing against them in other sports, track and baseball, basketball, especially. Times at Woodville, and even a few of them ran into it at Dangerfield. But I know this about the league. It's a good league. It's got, in my opinion, 5 teams that are playoff teams, and a 6-team scrambling to get there that wasn't very good. That wasn't very long ago since they were really good in Normandy. So I think it's going to be very competitive. You've got some great tradition at the top there with Centerville, Leon, and Corrigan, Camden, of course. So excited, proud to be in it. Some great coaches, some guys I've known from other places, and then guys that I learned some this spring at track meets and so forth. But it's going to be the real deal. If you come out of here as a playoff team, you're going to be a pretty good football team.
Well, let's talk about your first year coming up here at Groveton. What type of culture and what type of atmosphere are you wanting to instill in Groveton? You talked about how historically Groveton has history already. So what kind of culture and what are you trying to instill in your first year here in the job?
Sure. Well, I think for me, we may have a slogan every year or a team motto. Learned it from my first head coach at the collegiate level, my first 10 years there. And every year he said the same thing, Mike: hard work makes dreams come true, meaning that's the one thing that never changes. And if there's one thing I wanted to accomplish with these kids from day one, is that we're going to earn everything we get. Our shirts, our practice shirts, they earn it. That's it. You want to be all district player, you want to be a starter, you want to be on varsity, you want to get some stat, whatever it is you want to be, you got to go earn that. And most of the time that's earned through hard work. Some of us are blessed with some unbelievable talent, but then hard work's going to get you over the top. So I tell my team this: when I shake the hand of that opponent, I want them to say, "Goodness gracious, coach, your kids played hard." Hope that ends up in more W's than L's, But if they say that to me, I'm going to walk off that field with my head held high, because sometimes you just get beat by a better team. But I don't ever want to be outworked or ever be considered soft. And if we can get that accomplished as early as we can in this season, I'm going to be fired up.
Well, Coach, it's been a pleasure talking to you. I appreciate you taking the time and talking to us. Real quickly, before I let you get out here, I know this is a football conversation. I've worked in the radio the past few years, and so I've called some Groveton softball games. So now,
Sure.
being the AD, what do you know about the other sports at Groveton, not just football?
Sure. Well, I think Coach Hester's come over and done a phenomenal job, with our softball program, and Coach Wayne Williams has been here 12 years. He and I were actually together at NAC in the early 2000s. So small world. He's done a phenomenal job. So softball, baseball's getting some new facilities this year. They're redoing the stadiums. They're at obviously an elite level right now at our school. Coach Langford's been here, goodness gracious, 30 something years with our track program. I think men and women's basketball has gone through a transition with the new head coaches the last 2 years. And same thing with volleyball. So they're kind of like football right now. We're trying to kind of get that reestablished, but right now, baseball and softball have definitely been carrying the torch for us with track, and we're going to try to get it to where I use this example. When I took over at Woodville in 2014, they were 2-7 in football, but the bigger deal to me was they didn't make a single playoff for any boys sport the year before I got there. At the end of our first year, every boys sport was in the playoffs. The girls were already rocking and rolling with Troy Carroll, and that's kind of how I feel coming in right now. Coach Hester's got the girls rocking and rolling. We just got to keep driving to get a little better, but we got to get more consistency, more people playing more sports and not specializing, especially at the 2A level. And when we get to that, then I think we can get back to where it doesn't matter what you play. When you play Groveton, you better strap it on.
I love it. I love it. Well, Coach, thank you so much for taking the time and talking to us. Best of luck to the Indians this year, and we'll talk to you throughout the season.
Hey, God bless you, and thank you for covering our kiddos. We appreciate you.
Absolutely. Thank you so much, Coach.
Yes, sir.